It's 4 o'clock in Los Angeles. It's 6 o'clock in Chicago, and it's 7 p.m. in Philadelphia. Hello, everybody. Hi, I'm your buddy, the Mad Dog. This is America's Podcast. What's the buzz? Tonight, what's really going on inside the St. Louis Gateway Arch? Well, to help me explore this mystery of mayhem and merriment is Amelia, the Pitbull Chapman. How are you, Amelia?
Good. How are you?
I'm here.
I know, right?
That was last night. I'm here.
Mhm.
So our speaking of here, who is not here is our partner in crime, our tag team partner in this battle royale. Big Cal is having connection issues tonight, so Big Cal will be sitting this one out, I believe, unless he gets online sometime between now and 8 o'clock. Otherwise, you got me in the pit bull.
That's
like,
right.
like old times.
Yes.
Amelia, what do you know about this? Oh, by the way, before we get into tonight, we got a hell of a reaction from last night's show.
Good.
Isaac Cappy. A lot of people didn't know about Isaac Cappy, and they do now. What was your takeaway from last night? The show that we did on the late actor Isaac Cappy.
That basically anybody can try to call certain people out, but you better be careful, be quiet, because your life's going to be ending very soon if you do that. Basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can't argue with that.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much what the takeaway was. That whole hour and 10-minute show came down to keep your eyes open, your mouth shut, and don't ruffle no feathers, because if you do, you're in the wrong town to do it.
If you see
Hollywood,
something,
it's funny because Hollywood always had this reputation of being kind of like this happy place.
Yes, absolutely.
But it's really not.
Not anymore.
No, not at all. I hear something clicking? Do you?
No.
It's on my end. Something's clicking. I don't know.
Back in the day, you could go to Hollywood and maybe get discovered or watch some great movies.
Yeah, exactly, right?
And these actors were great actors. You didn't have to worry about them, hearing anything about them. But then all of a sudden, everything's coming out.
Yeah. And it's fun. What's funny that you say that, because it was a place where people, went to live their dream.
Absolutely.
And that was the dream capital of the world. Dreams come true in Hollywood.
Yes.
People used to, they would say, you arrive in a 100,000 bus and leave in a 500,000 limo.
Absolutely.
The problem is that over the years, Hollywood has taken on a very dark tone.
Very dark.
And we opened up pulled back the layer of that onion last night. Even Amelia and I doing this show with Big Cal, there's only so much that we will do as well.
Right.
Because we're not stupid. We're not going to ruffle. We'll ruffle some feathers, but we pick the chickens whose feathers we ruffle. However.
Right.
Right, Mio?
Right. We do the hens and chickens, not the roosters, basically.
Yeah, no shit, right? Very well put. Well said.
Right.
Very well said. Well, tonight, let me ask you a question. What do you know about the St. Louis Gateway Arch? We've been talking about this for a little bit now.
I just, when I was growing up, I didn't know anything conspiracy theory. I just thought it was this pretty little, nice little shiny thing over St. Louis that was just a decoration. Basically, it's what we were taught in school.
A big hood ornament.
Yeah, a big old.
A giant hood ornament.
And then I started watching movies, and it started looking more and more like a wormhole from like Stargate.
Well, funny you should say that, because the Gateway Arch, as it's called, the Gateway Arch, was called they built this as, if you believe the story, I don't believe it for one bit. If you believe the story, this arch came to be as the gateway to the West. 1963-64, they started constructing this thing, right?
Took them 2 years to finish it.
Yeah. So, and why all of a sudden was there a need to call it the gate? People have been going from east to west and west to east
Absolutely, yeah.
for decades. You know, at that point for 100 years.
Mm-hmm.
So why was there a need for this particular arch? Well, you're going to discover some reasons why. Some not real pleasant. Some that I'm not looking forward to talking about, but I have to, in full disclosure,
Right.
because our history is not always bright and shiny and tied up with a nice silver bow.
Exactly.
You know, sometimes our history is shit, brown, and dirty.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just the way it is, folks. I'm sorry, but that's just the way it is.
That's just putting it plain and simple.
Yeah. But in order to understand what I'm about to tell you, let's take a look at this. I think it's very important that we watch this.
The arch stands as a monumental tribute to the westward expansion of the nation and the pioneering spirit that drove it. It is an iconic symbol of the United States, located in St. Louis, Missouri. This awe-inspiring stainless steel monument is not only a marvel of engineering and design but also a potent reminder of America's historical legacy. Here are some intriguing and historical facts about the Gateway Arch. Number 1. The Gateway Arch is the centerpiece of the Jefferson National Expansion Memorial, which commemorates Thomas Jefferson's vision of expanding the nation to the west. Number 2. The design of the arch was selected through a national architectural competition, and Eero Saarinen's vision won over 170 other entries. Number 3. Construction of the arch began on February 12, 1963, and it was completed on October 28, 1965. Number 4. The arch stands at an impressive height of 630 feet or 192 meters, making it the tallest man-made monument in the United States. Number 5. The arch's legs curve inwards and then outwards, creating a unique and graceful design. Number 6. The arch was built to withstand earthquakes and high winds, and its foundations can move up to 18 inches or 46 centimeters in any direction. Number 7. Visitors can take a tram ride to the top of the arch to enjoy panoramic views of St. Louis and the Mississippi River. Number 8. The arch was constructed using 900 tons of stainless steel, which was specially fabricated in Pennsylvania. Number 9. It took 220 steel triangles to create the arch's unique shape. Number 10. The arch's sleek and modern design marked a departure from the more traditional monuments of its time. Number 11. It was originally named the Jefferson National Expansion Memorial, but is commonly referred to as the Gateway Arch now. Number 12. The arch is illuminated at night, creating a stunning visual spectacle against the St. Louis skyline. Number 13. A visitor center beneath the arch offers educational exhibits about westward expansion, Lewis and Clark, and the construction of the monument. Hope you liked the video. Please don't forget to subscribe.
Okay, that's what we know about the St. Louis Gateway Arch. However, there is another history to the arch, folks. Let me just give you a little bit of backstory here. The controversy, and we're talking about controversial subject matter on the show, and it's nothing new to us.
Nope.
But once in a while, controversy spills over into political fare or the political arena. And sometimes they even make sense. Like this one, you'll understand why certain things happened the way they did. Okay, so let me tell you a little bit. So the controversy surrounding the Gateway Arch in St. Louis spans nearly a century. So we're not talking about something that just came up.
Correct.
This has been going on a long time. As I said, almost 100 years. And it's from its initial inception to the construction. And by the way, construction began probably what they said, Amelia, 63 or 64, somewhere around there.
63.
Okay,
Yeah.
so 1963.
Mhm.
And while it is true that it's an engineering marvel, and there's no question about that, why it was built even now in 2026 still remains a huge mystery. We're talking about 50-year span, more than 50 years, really, from 1963 to 2026. So we're talking about 53 years here.
Yes.
All right, and this is not something that's going away.
No.
In fact, with every generation, Amelia, more people, more younger people are jumping on. Like why is this thing here?
Exactly.
Why is there a need for this? And there are people, you're going to hear about it tonight, who are actively trying to have the arch dismantled. They want it taken down. I don't think they stand a chance in hell.
No, they won't.
Happen.
Not when they spent that much money to build it. No.
No, I know, big time. Yeah. Okay, so let me tell you what happened here. While many see it as an engineering marvel, and it absolutely is, critics have highlighted its history of displacement, particularly racial exclusion and political maneuvering. And we talked about these two things merging.
Right.
You know, the controversial with the political.
Correct.
There's nothing more controversial or political than racial exclusion.
Absolutely.
Because we're dealing with it even now. So, one of the things that people need to understand, if you've ever been to St. Louis, there's a very dense African American population. Always has been.
Right.
By and large, you know, Missouri is a poor state. St. Louis is fairly affluent.
Right.
In that, because the arch is there, there's a lot of tourism, which means money.
Absolutely.
Tourism equals money. And I don't care how you slice or dice it, they're going to hold on to that cash. So, displacing communities was a big deal. And it's a big deal there now. There's none of this, like I said, none of this has gone away.
Right.
The arch's construction required the demolition of approximately, listen to this one, folks, 40 to 50 city blocks.
Yes.
We're not talking about a couple of row homes.
No.
We're talking about 40 to 50 city blocks. Just to put things into perspective. Okay. Go to New York City. I'll do you one better. Go on to Google Earth and then look up New York City and then measure out 40 to 50 square blocks.
Right.
Okay. You're going to end up with a space the size of Central Park, which is huge.
Very huge.
Okay. Yeah. Big time. 40 to 50 city blocks along the St. Louis riverfront. They started this in 1939. Okay. Remember something. They didn't start building it till the 60s.
Correct.
Okay. But they started to demo everything in 1939. Part of the reason was this, what they call, and I love this term, urban renewal.
Yes. Which
is the fancy way of saying, get rid of all the minorities and bring all the rich white people in.
Yep.
That's basically what it would. You can't get any more racial than this.
Nope, cannot.
Get rid of all the Hispanics and all the African Americans, and we're going to build this place for all the rich white people because we want their money.
Yes.
And I'm not lying. They called it urban renewal and Negro removal. And I'm not making a word of this up, folks. This is right from Google. This is right from, and it's right from the historical record. Proponents argued that the area was blighted and needed revitalization. Well, that's fine. It's all well and good. But to wipe out 50 blocks of people's homes, there's no more better displacement or bigger displacement than that.
Exactly.
You took people's homes from them to build a steel arch that nobody still knows what the fuck it's doing.
Nope.
Well, now we have some ideas.
Yes.
Thankfully, because we got a bunch of smart people now. But the bottom line on this part of the story is this. And I did it last night, and I have to do it again tonight. I don't want to go there, but I have to. Racial discrimination and protests were a big part of this, okay? Exclusionary hiring. During the construction, during the 1960s, when they were getting people ready to build this thing, they didn't hire any African Americans or any Hispanics. They used only white union contractors. I'm not making a word of this up, folks. Not a word of it. Okay? July of 1964, activists Percy Green and Richard Daley climbed 125 feet up on the arch's north leg to protest racial discrimination in federally patterned and funded projects. This action led to the United States Department of Justice filing its first pattern and practice lawsuit for equal employment opportunities. Needless to say, they had to hire at that point, they had to make it, let's put it this way, they had to make an effort to hire minorities. Okay, at the time, blacks and Hispanics were called minorities at the time. Now they're not. They are more, we are the white people are the minority because there's more people of color in the world than there are fair-skinned people like this.
Exactly. That happened. And just imagine me trying to find a job like that where they say no Mexican people.
Wait a minute. They would have hired you in a heartbit because you don't look Mexican.
I don't.
And I've said this on the show before. Amelia is the whitest Mexican you'll ever meet. Full-blooded Mexican. I'm Italian. You think I would get a job? Are you kidding me?
We barely made it in Tennessee. What are you talking about?
If your name doesn't start with O'Malley, O'Brien, or O'Shaughnessy, you weren't getting a job back then. Because the only real people that they would hire in unions at the time were, Irish laborers. And again, folks, not making a word of it up. You read it. Check it out. So let me ask you a question, Amelia. Now that you know a little bit about the dark history of the arch, we got to get into why do you think they went along and built this thing? What do you think it's there for? What is it there for?
It's not just really a decoration. To me, my conspiracy hat would say that it has to do with time travel, wormholes, things like that, because a certain angle of it does look like a wormhole. It does look like that, a certain angle.
Know what can I tell you what the arch reminds me of? And you're going to laugh. Remember the movie that James Spader did called Stargate?
Oh, yes. I remember. I watched that. Yes.
That whenever I see the arch, whenever I look at the St. Louis Gateway Arch, it reminds me, don't ask me why, it just reminds me of the movie Stargate.
Yes.
It just really does. So let's get into the conspiracy of it. Okay. So now, again, we're talking about a structure that's 630 feet high. The top is so narrow that if you're above 6 feet tall, you can't stand up.
No.
Okay, that's why they won't allow sitting presidents to go there, supposedly, because there hasn't been a short president.
Right.
You know that? The shortest president was Jimmy Carter, and he was 5'10".
5'10".
That's 5'10", yeah. And he was a short one. The St. Louis Gateway Arch is more than 630 feet tall with stainless steel and is subject to one of the most persistent urban legends in the United States. While it was built to commemorate westward expansion, allegedly, we say allegedly, local lore, and remember something about local folklore.
Yes.
It's always based in truth because somebody knows something on the ground. The boots on the ground in that area, they know something. Local lore has given it much more active a role in the city's daily life. Why? Hey, Cal.
I'm here.
There he is.
Yeah, had some connectivity issues.
Yeah, well, we told everybody that you may or may not be here, but if you popped in, there you go. So I just cut my face off. Hold on, folks.
Yeah, we were just discussing
I just
how
realized I got a welcome sign on my eye.
the arch was built. We told them
There
about
you
how
go.
tall it was when it was built, and now we're starting to get
Yeah,
into the
we're talking
conspiracy
about
part of it.
the arch. So here's some of the theories, okay? And Amelia nailed a couple of them. What are we talking about? The first and most persistent conspiracy theory. People think the arch is a weather control barometer. They think that this arch somehow, some way, I can't figure out what they're talking about, but they figure somehow, some way that this arch is actively changing the weather patterns in the country. Now, again, remember, it was built in 1964. This is before we had HARP in Alaska.
Mhm.
This is before we had all kinds of technology to change the weather. So, but it's one of those theories, Big Cow, that just won't go away. The most famous mystery is the belief that the arch is a giant weather control device. Now, Cal, you're a conspiracy kook at large here. What, how, and why do you think the arch would act as some sort of a weather barometer?
You know,
I can't. I'm trying to put my, my smart guy hat on, but I can't because I don't know what they're talking about, man.
I mean, honestly, that one's a little far fetched. I believe it's
kind
more
of kooky, isn't it?
It is.
yeah,
really,
even by
really
my
is.
standards, like I actually think it's more of some kind of portal.
That you and Amelia, I think, and by the way, we all three agree on it.
Mhm.
I think because Amelia said that she said that exact word
Mhm.
10 seconds before you popped in. Not
Yeah.
even kidding. All right, so here is the there are three things at play here. You got the legend, the theory, and the reality. Remember something, it's their reality, not ours, okay? What they're saying is that the reality is that meteorologists attribute this to an urban heat island, and I don't understand what that means, but it's got something to do with the way the wind pushes through this arch. There's some kind of a heating effect that takes place. Interestingly enough, and Cal, we talked about this just before you got here. Interestingly enough, no U.S. president or few U.S. presidents have ever been to the arch. None have ever been to the top of the arch. Why? Because the arch emits a great deal of radiation, but yet they'll allow the general public to go up there and take what they call a tram ride.
Mhm.
And by the way, folks, let me show you something. That mouse, that's the tram car, okay? You're going up pretty much straight until you get to that curve at the top, okay? That's a steep incline. I don't know about you, but I am A, claustrophobic, and B, I hate fucking heights, okay?
Yes.
So I don't know how many people are lining up to go on this, but apparently this tram that they call it is fairly active. In fact, it's very active. There's a lot of adrenaline junkies out there. So that's what they say. That's this. They call it the urban heat island.
What's that arch made of?
It's stainless steel,
Stainless steel.
made in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Mhm.
Every piece of it fabricated for a specific components.
Yeah.
Okay, so the other thing that they're saying, Cal, is that they call this let me see something here. Oh, here you go. Here's the other thing they talk about. Some conspiracy people, and some of them very active today, believe that this arch is some sort of a giant antenna to communicate with extraterrestrial intelligent life. I believe that one more than I believe a weather barometer.
Right.
Well, I mean, what about how the pyramids of Giza are all pointed in the mathematical direction of the speed of light?
Well, not only that, but they correlate direct to the Pleiades. It like point for point. If you look at the ground formation of the Giza plateau, there are 3 of the largest pyramids, and then there are 7. People don't realize this, because my wife has been to Egypt. My stepdaughter is Egyptian and Italian. Okay, and she's been there. So what we're talking about is the 3 giant pyramids on the Giza plateau, and then 5 or 6 smaller but sizable pyramids. Point for point, what Cal is talking about. Point for point, the ground and the celestial bodies line up exactly.
Yes.
Not sorta, kinda, exactly. Mathematically on point. Okay? So I'm much more apt to buy the theory that it's some sort of a antenna communication device portal than I am some cockamamie bull story about some weather barometer.
Right. Because if it was a weather thing, they need to bring it to Florida so we could not have hurricanes here.
Yeah, exactly. The paranormal connection, you guys. Here you go. While the arch itself isn't typically called haunted, the land that it was built on has a very dark history. The 1849 fire and plague that took place in the area. The arch grounds occupy the site of the Great Fire of 1849 and a devastating cholera epidemic. And those of you who don't understand, cholera is essentially what they called the Black Plague. Cholera, diphtheria, typhoid, all those diseases made up what's called the Black Plague. So essentially, you're talking about plague-type conditions in St. Louis, Missouri in 1848-49. Local ghost hunters often point to the old courthouse adjacent as part of the Arch National Park. It's called the Gateway Arch National Park right now. That's what it's currently called. And that might change in 5 minutes because the name has changed a half a dozen times already. So ghost hunters in that area, they often cite this courthouse as being a very, very haunted location, directly, and I mean directly adjacent to the arch. And they call this a hot spot for activity, particularly related to the Dred Scott case. And if you know anything about the Dred Scott case, I'm not going to, because that's another rabbit hole we can go down. I'm not going to just go Google it, the Dred Scott case. You'll understand. Okay. The only death attributed directly to the construction of the arch is when one of the workers, let's see, involving the structure in 1980, when Kenneth Swayers attempted to base jump off the top of the arch.
Wow.
His parachute failed to deploy.
Oof.
And he fell to his death 630 feet.
Oh my gosh.
They say that he did several base jumps higher than that, where his parachute opened every time. The only time it did not open was at the arch. They believe it's because the spirits there didn't want him to do it. You can't look.
No,
We can't argue with it.
I can understand where they're coming from.
And I'm not going to say it's coincidence. I'm not going to say it's coincidence. We're going to talk about coincidence in a minute. While the arch isn't typically haunted, again, the history of the area and the site that it sits on certainly has a questionable and dark past. Now, let's forget about what the papers say. Let's just you and I, because just the three of us here,
Right.
we hang out and talk a little bit. Cal, I want to, since you're the latest one to join us today, let's talk to you about what do you think this arch is all about? Why do you think it's still there? Why do you think that people over the years who have attempted to have it removed and taken down have failed miserably in their attempt? In every attempt to have it decommissioned, to have it disassembled, every attempt has been kiboshed. So why is it there? And go into some detail. I mean, we can say all day long, "Oh, I think it's a portal," but I want some information from you. I want to pick your brain a little bit.
Well, obviously, it is some kind of, portal or communication device. Otherwise, what use does it have? Like, especially if it's emitting so much radiation, I don't really understand either why it's still open. That's a health hazard.
That doesn't seem to bother the people who run it, despite the fact that people who go to the top come down sick and queasy and feeling unwell. Again, no one has died overtly as a result of being up there. Only one base jumper who, on that day, just all of a sudden on that particular day, his parachute decided not to open. I don't think that's a coincidence. I think the spirits that be, the spirits that are there, decided they're going to have some fun with this guy and just take him out.
What do they? Why do they call it? Because I've heard it actually called the portal to the west.
It's called the portal to the west, the passageway to the west, the gateway to the west. The interesting thing is, when it was built, nobody was ever using the term gateway. And people have been traveling from east to west for eons.
Forever, yeah.
For, up at that point, up like 100 years already, over 100 years. So it's interesting that particular moment, they chose to say, well, we're going to call this the gateway to the west. Well, why all of a sudden now? It got me scratching the head. Like, why? Okay.
Well, let me ask this.
Sure.
So is there like a significance, like on a map? Does the time change after you pass this gateway arch? Like, is there? Okay, so it's right after. Then you're in like a central time zone.
You go into central time. Yep, you sure do.
Okay.
But you could do that going from Knoxville to Nashville.
Oh yeah, easily 3 hours.
Yeah,
difference. Yeah, or 6 hour difference. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Here's the thing, and Amelia, because you lived in Tennessee.
Yes.
Knoxville is Eastern Standard Time.
Eastern Standard Time.
Okay?
Yeah.
Go to Nashville, Central Time. Okay. It's only an hour between.
Yeah, it's like right split down the middle. Basically, Tennessee is. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you, it's something funny.
Mm-hmm.
I used to live in Rockwood, Tennessee, which is Eastern Standard Time.
Mm-hmm.
I worked in Cookeville, Tennessee, which is Central Mountain Time. Okay. I used to lose an hour going to work and gain an hour coming home every day.
That sounds terrible.
It was awful. My sleep habits were horrible.
I know, right?
I couldn't get a good night's sleep to save my life back then. Horrible. Awful. But this is what we're talking about. So here's what they're saying about this: the conspiracy people. Again, it's been called a portal. It's been called, America's greatest secret weapon hiding in plain sight. I don't know if I believe that. I don't know if I buy that. Of course, that's coming from government sources, so I immediately I don't believe it. Okay. The interesting thing, though, is that they won't allow the and Amelia and I were talking about this before we went on the air. The Secret Service will not allow a current sitting president to go up there. They are banned.
They're banned.
They're banned from going to the top of the Gateway Arch. First of all, it's barely 6 feet of headroom at the top, barely 6 feet. And most of our presidents have been over 6 feet. So if they stand up, they're going to crack their head. And certainly any number of people who have been to the top have come down feeling unwell or ill. I don't know if I want to say that I put stock in the fact that they're calling it some sort of a weather control device. I'm not so much sold on that theory. I much, from me personally, and I've said this before, when I see the arch, I'm reminded of James Spader in the film Stargate, because to me it looks like a Stargate.
It does, very much so.
I actually have a copy of Stargate on Laserdisc, but my player's still broken.
Well, I'm not buying a new one, so forget it.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I know they had to dig 6 feet at least just to start the project.
There you go.
And I'm wondering, since they have like a visiting center museum, what else is underneath that?
Well, I'm going to show you a piece of film.
Okay.
Okay. We saw a little tour of the Gateway Arch before Cal got here. But I'm going to show you something that came to my attention early this morning. Take a look at it.
Ready for some dope shit? All right, so St. Louis, this is the arch. Right? It's what they call the passageway to the Midwest. Now, hidden behind the arch is this building. See this little, that's a Moorish structure. You see the star and the crescent behind it.
I want you see where his finger is?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Forget his fingers there for a minute. I want you to look at the plaza, the building, and look at the setup of the building behind him. Have you seen that formation before?
It's a star.
Well, but where have you seen that before? Hiding
Sandusky,
in plain
Ohio.
sight.
Sandusky, Ohio, Washington, D.C.
Stop right there.
Washington, D.C., yeah.
Stop right there. What does that building look like? It looks like the Capitol, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Okay, it looks like the nation's capital. Well, that is the Capitol building. Okay, in Missouri, that's the St. Louis, Missouri is the capital. Okay, keep that in mind. Because I don't think there's any coincidence. Watch.
Now, check this out. I want you to take a look right back there. See that little tiny building back there? I'm going to show you something dope. Look at what's on top. See the pyramid? See the civil courts building? I keep telling you, the old world's...
You see that, right?
Yes.
You know what you're looking at, right?
Yeah.
Old
And even
gods.
that circle that they showed, it looked like a landing pad.
No. Look at what are you looking at? Tell me what you're looking at.
Look, let's see, pyramid.
You're
Ancient
looking at the two faces of the Sphinx.
Oh, okay. I see what you're talking about now.
The Egyptian Sphinx.
all around you.
Ah, there it is.
You're looking at Egypt.
Mm-hmm.
You're looking at old world Egypt in St. Louis, Missouri. Do you see where the arch is?
Yes, like
Do you
right
see
in
how
the middle of
perfectly
it.
centered?
Mhm.
Do you see how perfectly centered?
That's creepy.
It's all by design. Tell me, looking at you tell me, please tell me if you think this is just coincidence, please. Because if you do, I'm going to smack you. Go ahead.
All right, so St. Louis.
Did you see the pyramid?
Yes.
Wow.
Did you see the pyramid?
Mhm.
Oh, definitely. Are they worshiping like Egyptian gods in Missouri?
Brother, this government has been worshiping Egyptian gods since the beginning of time.
Yeah.
That's what people don't understand. Okay. The idea that America has, and that's what it all comes down to, is there's always, remember something, everything that we talk about at some juncture, there's going to be a spiritual or otherworldly element to it. There is always going to be, because it's just the way it is. You cannot separate the spirit from the natural. You just cannot, and don't even try, because it won't happen. It's just not going to happen. So let's accept the fact that we have been lied to about whatever deity you worship, because the government of this country and so many countries around the world worship the old world gods,
Yes.
small g and s.
Mhm.
Okay. Understand that that's what we're talking about. Amelia, I'm going to bring up on the big camera. So Cal had his take on it. Give me your take. What do you feel?
Well, now that I'm seeing those pictures, I'm thinking that right there, that Sphinx, that Egyptian person right there, I wonder if that's like the sun god, and that's who they're trying to worship. And when they did the design, they picked somebody that made it perfect, just right on top of it, to make it look like, hey, we're worshiping you, but we're going to put this above you.
I will ascribe to that, and because I believe that everything that you've seen, that little 2-minute video that we just saw,
Mhm.
I think everything that you just saw there explains perfectly why the arch was built. Number one, why it was placed where it was placed. Remember something, and Cal, you weren't here, but in 1939, now listen to what I'm saying here. In 1939, 40 to 50, I'm going to say this again, 40 to 50 square blocks were demolished to create that park and arch. That means that, and I'll say this again, because there is a racial element here. Okay. They called it.
You don't think they're charging? Sorry.
Hold on, just because I'm going to let you jump in here. They called it the Urban Renewal and Negro Removal Project. The Hispanics and blacks, African Americans that lived in that area, were completely and utterly displaced.
Correct.
Even to the point where today in 2026, it has not been rectified sufficiently. There are a disproportionate number of African Americans that are homeless in St. Louis than any other part of Missouri. And what was the reason? Because they took all of these African Americans and Hispanics who they felt couldn't contribute to society, pushed them out, and they brought all these rich white people in. Why? Because they want their money.
Absolutely.
Because rich white people spend money. They spend tourist money. They spend money to build up the area. That's what they spend. People don't understand that. And again, I'm not making a word of this up, folks. Go
No,
do the
it's
work.
not.
Go do your own research. The arch's construction required the demolition of 40 to 50 city blocks along the St. Louis riverfront starting in 1939. Construction on the arch did not even begin till 1964. Think about that. 25 years later. Okay? If you know anything about numerology, 25 is an important number. If you look at where the arch is, what's around it, what was designed around it, it's all cryptic occult numerology. That's the spiritual element that I'm talking about. Okay? So understand that this is not some, Angelo's bullshit, okay? Because look, I could bullshit with the best of them, but I don't do it on the show because I don't want people calling me out and say, "Oh, that's bullshit." That's not true. Trust me, folks. When I tell you I do research, I do fucking research. Okay. So go ahead, Cal.
Well, I now have a new theory now that I've learned that they're worshiping Egyptian gods. It really, are they charging some kind of spiritual sigil?
That's a good question. That's a real good question. I wish I could give you an answer.
It's kind of creeping me out, to be honest.
Yeah, especially the way it looks right underneath that Egyptian person. Yeah,
it takes a lot to creep me out, but that one gave me goosebumps.
Interesting. There was a competition held for the people who designed the arch. There was a guy named Eero Serenian. He won a design competition in 1947. Some of the people who were critical of his design said that he stole the arch design and that he plagiarized the arch design from a fascist, a neo-fascist Roman. And I don't understand, because I tried to research this and I didn't see any arches in Italy. I saw squared off columns. I saw very structured, regimented columns and hallways, and I didn't see anything that even resembled an arch. But however, to Cal's point, I have in Egyptian culture, which brings a whole different angle to this whole conspiracy of why the arch was built. Again, if you believe, as we do, that it's a portal, the arch makes perfect sense if you think it's a portal, because it's emitting radioactivity. Go to that area. Go to the ground around that area. Take a Geiger counter. Did you ever see those things the guys use on the beach? They sweep the beach with it. Take one of them over there. That thing will go off all day long. All day long. Because that ground is so highly radioactive. There's something in the ground there that I've dealt with a few times buying houses. It's called radon. If you don't know what radon is, it's exactly what it sounds like. It's radioactive. It's low-level radiation coming from pockets in the dirt. It's called radon, and it's in New Jersey, you have to have a radon inspection done before you ever buy a house, because if it's sitting on too much radon, they won't build it, or they'll tear your house down. I'm not even kidding you. I'm not even kidding you. Please, when I say this to you, they will tear your place down because it will be deemed uninhabitable for human habitation. So you guys got real quiet on me all of a sudden. What the hell happened?
I was listening to what you were saying.
I've been thinking. I've been in deep thought. I'm just wondering. You've got the arch. You've got the Egyptian. What was that again? Was that not Cleopatra? What was that god?
That was the Sphinx.
The Sphinx, yeah.
Yes, the Sphinx. And then it's in line with the Capitol building. And right behind the Capitol building is this giant pentagram-like thing. And it's like, what are they charging? Like, I now believe that the St. Louis Arch is like a charger. Like they're charging something.
Well, think about it. Have you ever seen the top of the pyramids? The original top of the pyramids, believe it or not, were cut off, like almost surgically cut off. The top of the pyramids now on the Giza Plateau are concrete.
Wow.
It's cement. What they did was they completed the top of the pyramids with concrete because they were flat.
Yeah.
And if you think go look. In fact, you know what? You guys talk about this because I'm gonna hop off here. I'm gonna show you a picture. Good.
Okay.
Why would they flatten out and redo like these ancient structures? You know,
It makes me wonder if it's like landing pads for the aliens, because you know how inside the pyramids they have this calligraphy of all these, them meeting with aliens and the spaceships and things like that.
Oh
If that's
yeah,
like a landing for them.
yeah. There's actually some calligraphy that's been found that depicts, like, you could see somebody sitting in front of a computer screen.
Yes.
You see Pepe the Frog God, and that was turned into a modern meme, but it's all these things that are like these ancient signs are still with us.
I'm back. Cal, how'd you get over there, Cal?
I do what I please.
You and Amelia keep screwing around with my shit over here. Let me show you guys something. Take a look at this picture. I'm going to show you a picture real quick. I found what I was looking for. There you go. And by the way, just to show you, to prove what I was saying before about the smaller pyramids, there they are. Because I found a picture that had everything. I want you to look at the center. That is the Great Pyramid of Giza, the one in the center. That's the biggest one. Look at what they did. That's concrete, by the way.
Oh gosh.
If you
on
look
the top.
at on the top. Okay. That's brick and mortar up there. That's not stone. The top of the Great Pyramid of Giza was cut off. There was no top.
Oh,
that was put there basically to keep everything symbiotic, to keep everything looking like a triangle, like a pyramid.
On the right pyramid, what is that stick or some kind of satellite sticking out of the top?
That's actually not a satellite. And believe it or not, it's a literal lightning rod.
Really?
It's a it's a literal lightning rod. Yep. You can't, and why would they put a lightning rod? It's simple, to harness electricity.
They need the 1.21 gigawatts of electricity to, power the alien spacecraft inside.
Well, I don't know about all that. I don't know. I don't believe that there's anything inside other than some empty chambers. I do, however, believe that the Giza Plateau sets aside as an astronomical compass. I believe that. And I believe that because of all the extraterrestrial activity that happens every night and every day, actually, in that place.
Have you seen the pyramids that are in Antarctica?
I have, but we're not going to get into that show right now because that's a whole nother show. See, Cal's got one of these minds that, because of he's a lunatic, his mind just goes there.
It does.
I say that with love, Cal. I say that with love. He's a kook.
Yeah.
The rest of us. That's why we're here, because we're loony. Anyway, hey, that was a fast hour. Holy shit!
That's a
Man.
fast hour.
Damn! Holy shit! That was a fast hour.
It was fast for me.
We got next week government psyops. We're going to talk about 9/11, Sandy Hook, Fort Hood, Texas, Parkland, Florida. We're going to talk about the greatest psyop, 9/11. We're going to talk about Charlie Kirk. Yes, that was a psyop, folks. And why psyops are on the rise, and what does the government intend to do with these psyops, and what are they doing that you don't know? Hiding in plain sight, my friend. That's what we're going to be talking about next week. Hiding in plain sight. Don't hide things from people.
No.
If you want to really hide something from someone, stick it right in front of them.
Yes.
They'll walk past it every day and never fucking know. I'll give you a perfect example. A perfect example of what I'm talking about. You've all seen it. You've all seen it. The Empire State Building. You walked past it probably a dozen times. Okay? You know why there's a radio tower at the top of the Empire State Building? It's not to tune in a radio station. Let's put it that way.
Oh,
folks.
wow.
Okay? It's to harness energy. That building is self-contained. If New York City goes down, the Empire State Building will stay lit forever and a day. It ain't going nowhere, folks.
It's like their modern day generator.
It is that whole building's a generator.
Mm-hmm.
You don't even know how close you are to that one.
Wow.
The whole building, and that's what the pyramids are, Cal. They're essentially generators. Lightning hits the Giza Plateau virtually every single night at some point. Lightning, believe it or not, hits most of us every single night. We're asleep. We don't see it. But if you got a camera rolling and you look at it in the morning, you'll see there's lightning flashing somewhere. There's always lightning flashing somewhere. Doesn't have to be thunder with it. Doesn't have to be rain with it. Lightning is nothing more than electrostatic energy that just it permeates the air. It is what it is. It just is.
It travels through air molecules.
It's exactly that's all it does.
Mm-hmm.
It's just air. That's all it really is. So next week we're going to do the government psyops, and we are also doing the Illuminati card game next Tuesday.
That's gonna be a great show.
By the way, man, I just remind you. You just reminded me when you did that. Yeah. Jim Carrey. Brand new video from Jim Carrey.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Can't wait to see that.
See ya. Oh my God, Gonzo's back.
Hey, Gonzo.
Man, where the hell have you been, brother? I haven't seen. Oh my God, I haven't seen Gonzo in forever. Where the hell have you been hiding yourself, man? Wow, we're getting our old crew back. Gonzo's back. Ruffian's back. Where the hell's Leon and Rosie? I want to know where they are.
Uh-huh.
And they finally kill each other, or what?
Oh my gosh, I hope not.
All right, Gonzo, welcome back, baby.
Yes.
Welcome back. I heard the Sphinx is pointed at a certain location. Yes. There is, in fact, and we will do that story. I have a little inside track on that one. Yeah, I'm not going to tip my hand over here.
Right.
I'm gonna keep that one.
Mm-hmm.
I'll keep that one on the hush hush. On, like they say, the kids like to say, on the download, daddy.
On the download.
On the download, daddy. And we're going to do Illuminati next. Oh, the other thing I wanted to say, Cal, it's just when you reminded me when you did the Illuminati. New video from Jim Carrey. Looking very much like the old Jim Carrey. All of a sudden.
All of a sudden?
All of a sudden, looking like the old Jim Carrey. Mm-hmm.
I just hope Jim's okay.
Talking about Donald Trump. Oh, it's the old Jim. It's the old Jim. Absolutely.
It just still throws me off because he said that if he ever came out back in public, it wasn't him.
Yeah, he just plays the character of Jim Carrey is what he said.
You got to remember something. And I've said this before. Remember something. If an actor's lips are moving, he's acting.
Yes.
Okay? Actors are actors because they don't know how to be who they are. They don't know how to be themselves. Jim Carrey said it. His therapist opened him up to the fact that he is a vessel for a character. You don't exist. Jim Carrey, you don't exist. Jim Carrey is a character that you're playing in this life. Shakespeare himself said, "The world is a stage, and all of us but merely players." I'm Angelo DeCipio, but I play the Mad Dog. She's Amelia Chapman. She is the pit bull. And Big Cal is always Big Cal. There you go. But until next week, folks, we will, Lord willing and the creek don't rise, we will see you again next week. Same time, same bat time, same bat channel. On America's Popcast, What's the Buzz? So for Amelia, the Pitbull Chapman, for Big Cal Yater, I am the Mad Dog. Take care, folks. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.